Thank you for the 400 subscribers. Today we're going to be doing a what if. What if Deku was a Saiyan? So without any further ado, let's get into the intro and then start the story. So, this story will start, basically, let's say, with Gohan. Gohan just defeated Cell with Super Saiyan 2. Gohan decided, well, we're going to turn the time. We're going to time skip after this to Great Saiyaman arc. So, it's a Great Saiyaman arc. Gohan is going to West City to where he can train. And basically, his mother Chi-Chi puts him in school, but Gohan tries to enroll in UA. Gohan doesn't really get accepted, so this kind of disheartens him a little bit. And he goes to school where we basically see him going. And now, Gohan does become a pro hero on their name Great Saiyaman just by jumping into action in West City. So Gohan / Great Saiyaman is now invited to teach at UA. So Gohan decides to teach at UA, and he meets Deku before he even decides to teach there, because Deku, like in canon, went to All Might. All Might told me he couldn't be a hero without quirk. But in this reality, Gohan saves Deku from the sludge villain with one singular punch. So Deku asks the Great Saiyaman, "Can I hope to be a hero like you?" And Great Saiyaman says, "Of course, with great training comes great power." And so he notices Deku has a tail and says, "Dude, you have a tail. Deku says, "Well, I know I have a tail. I was born with it, but yet I don't seem to have any other power. Can I still hope to be a hero?" And Gohan says, "Yes, you can, because I am the Great Saiyaman, and I will train you." So Deku and the Great Saiyaman start to train, and they both train until at the time of the entrance to UA. And Deku basically unlocks Super Saiyan in this time frame. And Gohan says, "Great works, kid. You have unlocked a level of power that usually only unlocks by rage. Congratulations." And Deku goes on to say, "What is this power?" And Gohan says, "It's called Super Saiyan. You will use this power to become a great hero. You can become stronger than All Might, even stronger than most heroes on this planet. Most heroes don't have this power. They don't have a power level of this." With Deku's surprised to hear this. Deku says, "What? Why don't others have it?" And then Gohan says, "It's because you are a Saiyan. Us Saiyans don't really have a quirk because we're born without one. We usually just have a tail. And we're super strong too, so I can train you to unlock your full potential, but UA might do that for you, so I'm just going to help you get to the basic level of strength needed to pass UA and entrance exam, and then I will help you gain greater heights once you pass UA. Even if you don't pass UA entrance exam, I will still teach you everything you need to know, for I am the Great Saiyaman." And Deku, pleased to hear this, goes on to say, "Where should we train at next?" So they train in the hyperbolic time chamber for a year and a day. Although this confuses Deku hearing that they can train for a year and a day, because honestly, he's still new to this whole Saiyan thing. Gohan goes on to say, "A year and a day is what you..." And Deku goes on to question him and says, "What do you mean, train for a year and a day in there?" And Gohan says, "Well, it's complicated. Even I don't really understand it. My father understands it. His name is Goku." And hearing this, Deku pulls out his notebook and says, "Oh yeah, I know him. He's the dude who won the martial arts tournament a few years ago." Gohan said, "Yes, that was him." Anyways, Gohan says, "I am Gohan." And he says, I am Gohan." who are you? And he goes, I am Izuku Midoriya, but everyone calls me Deku because of Kachan. And so Gohan decides to throw a few punches and kicks at Deku, trying to toughen him up. Gohan and Deku continued their friendly sparring match for a while. And Deku kind of gains a ton of Zenkai because Gohan keeps beating him and giving him Sensu beans to heal him. And Gohan transforms into Mystic Gohan, as we all know. And Deku kind of gets a little scared as he goes Super Saiyan to try and match his power. Gohan still wipes the floor, though, with Deku because, well, we all know Deku is still young and still doesn't have the power that he needs to beat Mystic Gohan. Or Ultra Instinct Goku, for that fact. But, Deku and Gohan continue their sparring match until the UA entrance exams happen. And we're going to time skip over to the UA entrance exams, because I don't feel like going into full detail of their whole training period and montage and all that. So Deku and Gohan are finally at in peace where they need to be to go to UA entrance exams. Although Deku's at a higher level than he should be at in order to pass. Deku's already able to go Super Saiyan 3. So as you would imagine, Deku's slamming robots left and right, breaking them piece by piece because, well, he's just already Super Saiyan 3, which is Majin Buu level, so Deku is kind of strong in his own right here. Deku is now taking out like 20 robots at a time, and he's just blitzing through them all like really quick. And he's already like so far ahead of everyone else that it's not even funny. And then Deku decides to punch like a 0 pointer and takes it out like in no time flat, and he still has like 20 minutes left of the exam, and then Uraraka's like still underneath the robot like in canon, and Deku punches the robot away with one punch as in canon, but he doesn't break his body. Even if he did, he would have Sensu beans to heal himself, so I don't really think that he would break his body here. So Deku continues like blitzing through every single robot, and he gets to one in particular robot that we'll say this is one of the 0 pointers. He punches it like while using Kaioken, but Kaioken wrecks his body so bad that he like can't move. And time has only 1 second left, and Deku pops the Sensu bean in his mouth and heals himself, and then he blitzes one other robot before the timer runs out. And of course he gets into the hero course like usual, and still it's amazing at how like fast he obliterated them, because that's Kachan's point of view. And then so the Great Saiyan Man who was watching was like, dang, this kid's super strong. I know that I trained him to be this strong, but I didn't know he unlocked Super Saiyan 3. When did this happen? And then All Might is like, this kid is so strong. I'm going to pass One for All on to him if he wants it. And then and then even the principal was so confused. Mr. Aizawa was like, I'm happy to see that he is going to be in my class, because I want him in my class. I want them to save him a seat for my class. And then Todoroki, who was just like blitzing through them as well, but he wasn't Todoroki wasn't really blitzing through them. Todoroki would be blitzing through them if he would took the exam, so we're not even going to put him in the exam. He still got in through recommendation, but Todoroki's father, Endeavor, was like, this kid is so strong. When did he get strong? Because Endeavor was just being a guest judge because, well, he had nothing better to do with his time. And so with that, I'm going to have to say that Goku would be judging as well, because, you know, Gohan would have to have Goku be a judge because Goku is his dad anyway. So Goku was judging, said, that kid is strong. He's so strong. I want to spar him. And Goku uses Ultra Instant Transmission to go to Deku to spar him. And Deku says, hey, I want to spar too, but we shouldn't spar here because the exam is still happening. So Goku agrees to move the sparring match to somewhere else. As they both get into a sparring stance, and Mr. Aizawa tells them that they can go spar in another area, another location on UA, but they can't spar here because it's the entrance exams place. And Deku says, can you teach me how to do that thing where you appear randomly somewhere else? Goku says, sure. And Goku does teach Deku how to use instant transmission and tells him the name of it. And it also tells Deku that they could both be as strong as each other. If Deku keeps training, he could probably surpass him, because Goku knows that Deku could surpass him, but he says that it's highly unlikely that he'll do it anytime soon, because Goku has Ultra Instinct right now, and Gohan has Gohan Beast, as we all know, so it'll be highly unlikely that they surpass him sometime between now and the UA Sports Festival. But Deku decides that Goku should be the one to train him now, because Deku and Gohan and Goku would all start training together. And so Goku and Gohan would double team on Deku. So, because Goku would train Deku so that Deku could gain Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, while Gohan would train him so that he could gain his mystic form of some kind or something, so that they could all be on par one day. But still, the training does take really great effect between now and when he gets his acceptance letter. So Deku now gets his acceptance letter to UA after about a month of training with Goku and Gohan. So now that he has his acceptance letter, he is ready to get into UA. So as he goes in, gets his acceptance letter, we're gonna time skip to the next day, or time skip to like the day that he goes to his first class. So he goes into class for the first day, and he sees everyone there. He even sees Bakugo, and Bakugo is really angry. Says, "What the heck, nerd? Did you seriously think that you could stop? Did you seriously think that you could beat me?" And so with that, Bakugo and Deku kind of get into a little argument, and then Mr. Aizawa comes in, and that's when things kind of happen normal as they did in canon, with Mr. Aizawa saying it's time for your quirk assessment test. We're not going to orientation because pros, that'll just waste our time, and we train you to be pros, so I can do whatever I want. This is my class. So basically, Deku, and that's when he gives his whole thing about the last person being expelled who comes in last, and this kind of riling Deku up even more. But since he's trained with Goku and Gohan, he's kind of cool and collective about it. So during the first test with the ball throw, he transformed into Super Saiyan 4, and he threw the ball as hard as he could, and Mr. Aizawa tried to erase his quirk, but couldn't because, not a quirk, he's a Saiyan. So he threw the ball as hard as he could, and he got a whole entire level of infinity. And the rest of them kind of got the same as in canon. And then, for the next test, Deku still did not come in last, because it was the speed test, and of course Deku's fast enough in his base form now, but Deku wanted to take it up a notch. He transformed into Super Saiyan 2 and just took off as quick as he could, and he still beat everybody. And then he also did his mystic, and then for the next test he used mystic form for it, and he still got higher than everybody. So I'm not going to go over what his score is, but we're going to go over who was in last. Mineta was in last, and their scores were all as in canon, but Mineta was last, and Mr. Aizawa was saying, no one's getting expelled. And so they were like, what? Everybody. And so everybody voted for the class rep next, because Mr. Aizawa was like, all right, vote for your class rep. I don't care. Just do it before I wake up from my nap. The votes go in as in canon, and Deku gets first, and then as in canon, there's the whole break-in, and everyone's panicking except Deku. Deku's just flying above everybody, and Ida gets sent over to the emergency exit, like in canon. And Deku is still swarmed with people, but Deku decides that, he's just gonna let things play out. And as they play out, he says everyone should just vote for Ida. Ida should be the class rep. So Ida becomes class rep as in canon, and Deku says... And then we time skip to the USJ. So on the way to the USJ, Deku puts on his hero costume, and it's basically the same as in canon, just a little bit, well, not really. His hero costume is like a whole entire fighting gi, like the one in Street Fighter. It's like Ryu's gi, and Deku puts that on and says, all right, let's begin this. And Shigaraki shows up as in canon, and Deku's like, oh great, I'm not strong enough to beat him yet, because, well, we're gonna say that we're gonna up Shigaraki's power level to be on a Majin Buu level, but in a Majin Buu level, a Majin Buu absorbed Gohan type level, so we're gonna make him that high. So Deku wouldn't be strong enough to beat him, neither would Gohan nor Goku at this point, because, well, he's gonna be strong. So Shigaraki is ready to take down everyone that's at the USJ. So Deku decides to be really crazy and decides to rush in at him with Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan 4. I'm gonna say Goku's at Super Saiyan 4 at this point as well, and we're just gonna up them from there. Anyway, so Goku and so whenever they call for backup, Goku and All Might and Gohan come in, and they're able to take down the Nomu and all the other villains other than Shigaraki, because Shigaraki escapes as in canon, and well, as we all know, Goku beat the Nomu with one punch. And Goku decides that, well, these guys were strong, but what was their motive for breaking in? And like we all know, their motive was to kill All Might, as in the original anime, but Goku doesn't realize this and asks everyone that was there, and they tell him, and he's like, oh, that's why. So now we have to time skip a little bit to the Beerus, because Beerus decides that's going to be a good idea now to show up. And, well, Beerus starts a fight with Goku and Deku, and thus he starts telling them if they don't win, he'll destroy the planet. And so Deku and Goku end up fighting Beerus, and, well, Goku and Deku both end up with Super Saiyan God at this point, and they both start to continue their training after Beerus, but they keep fighting with Beerus until Beerus eventually knocks Goku out, and Goku falls back to Earth, and he's caught by Vegeta. And then we're gonna go back over here, and Deku, who is still fighting with Beerus, decides that keeps fighting with Beerus until eventually he can't stand no more, and Beerus is well, I kept my promise, I destroyed Earth, as he just destroys a tiny little pebble, and he goes back to his planet of the destroyers. So anyway, so now Deku continues his training at UA. Now we time skip again over to UA Sports Festival. So Deku now has Super Saiyan God, and Goku has Super Saiyan Blue at this time frame. But anyway, so Deku continues his training, and All Might and Goku both are in charge of this training, and they put Deku and Bakugo on opposite teams as in the normal anime, and Deku's with Uraraka as a normal anime, and Bakugo's with Ida as a normal anime, and they're basically going to be doing the villain training with the little fake thing in the scenario. And well, so as in canon, Bakugo chases after Deku at first and loses his whole senses, but Deku is way stronger at this point, so Deku shoots a Kamehameha like at the roof, and it just knocks a hole in the roof, knocking Bakugo up through the top of the whole building, and it just creates a tiny little hole. It's nothing really big, but it creates one, and it's enough force to blast Bakugo through the roof, and Uraraka grabbed the dummy, and they won as in canon, and still, it was enough for them to be able to, like, use their power. It was enough for them to be able to get enough recognition, but All Might says they shouldn't have done that. They took liberty in the fact that this was training and it wasn't real, because yeah. And basically the commentary went as in canon, but it still pushed everyone else to do their best. And still Deku was like a little hurt, so he took a sensu bean and healed himself, and he just watched the rest of them. He just watched the rest of them during their matches, and he learned something new about each individual hero or classmate that he was watching, and he basically learned how to be more like proactive in being a hero and doing what was right. He basically learned from watching them, and he also basically gained a new power. Like, he gained a new Zenkai boost or whatever, a new power level because of what he did. So Deku has a Zenkai, and it boosts him up to about where Super Saiyan Blue Goku would be at right about now. So we're gonna have him already be Super Saiyan Blue, because I don't feel like going through another whole training montage. We're just going to skip that. Anyway, so Deku becomes Super Saiyan Blue, and he's basically now at the sports festival, so he still has to go up against Todoroki as in canon, so Deku still fights Todoroki as in canon, and so Deku does beat Todoroki, but it's the slim chance, and still Todoroki does have that same talk he has in canon with Deku, so I don't really feel like going over that again. Anyway, so Deku does basically beat Todoroki, but it takes a lot out of him, and then during the Cavalry battle, it was like Deku still won that, but yeah, Deku only won because his power, he is a Saiyan, and the Saiyan power was like he could fly, do the Kamehameha, and basically he is already at Super Saiyan Blue level, so he basically blitzed through each of these exams and basically passed. the UA Sports Festival, and he had a lot of internship options afterwards. He got one from Gran Torino, and he talked with Gohan and Goku and All Might about it, and All Might said they should take the one from Gran Torino because that was All Might's teacher. He's one of the strongest people on the planet. And then Goku said, yeah, you probably should take that one because he wants to see how strong Deku can get between now and then, because Goku's already at Ultra Instinct right now. So with that, we're gonna say that we're gonna end part 1 with that, because I want to go into part 2 we'll talk more about Broly and the Tournament of Power and some other stuff that's going to be happening, like Superhero and all the other, and mostly in some of the Z movies, because I didn't really talk about any of the Z movies, but we'll have the Z movies be in part 2 as well, and all the movies, yeah. And with that, we'll catch you next time, and if you like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. And also, well, we'll see you in part 2. Ciao.